It's the Manifesting Hour, coming to you live on UI Radio Network. Have fun, be childlike, interact, and play again. You get to pretend on this digital happy hour, where we manifest dreams into reality, helping you look within so you can find your blocks, walking you to your next inspired step. It's the Law of Attraction in action with your host, Katherine Pike. Join Katherine Tuesday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, throwing you in the deep end with a big smile. Catch her show live on the United Intentions Spreaker channel, iTunes, Stitcher, our UI Radio app, and many more. You can also watch our show on Facebook Live and YouTube at United Intentions. Follow us on Instagram at United Intentions and on Twitter at Higher Intention. The Manifesting Hour with Katherine Pike.
Welcome to the Manifesting Hour. I'm really pleased you're with us. And today we have a fabulous guest, and she is so soulful, so calm, and so beautiful. Alia Siddiqui, we're very pleased to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Katherine.
You're welcome. And we want to welcome our friends from 99.1 FM WDJY and our friends 93.5 FM WWNN, and to our folks out there at WMTA 107.3 in Kentucky. Welcome. We're glad you're with us. And welcome to the UI Media Network. It used to be Radio Network. It's the Media Network now. And that leaves us open to create and play and explore. You're going to see great things from the Media Network. So here's an offer for you. Have you heard of the Get Your Life Back Now DVDs? Have you heard about those? If you haven't, you need to go to www.getyourlifebacknow.live and check them out. And we invite you to go ahead and purchase some of those DVDs and put them in your library for your wellness and well-being. It really is news that you can use. The United Intentions Foundation is also going to be hosting a City Summit. It's called the City Summit Atlanta Mastermind at the City Gala on October 13th at the Buckhead Marriott. The City Summit series is over 60 world-class, nationally conscious business acceleration experiences that ends with a celebration on the night of the Academy Awards in LA. So sign up for the event at www.citysummit.co under City Network Community. Stay tuned later today at 5 p.m. for Two Therapists and a Mic, featuring guest Dr. David Julius Ford, Jr. And so let's talk about, we're not here to talk about like that kind of stuff right now. We're here to talk about feelings. We're going to talk about emotions, right?
Yes.
And Alia, how would you describe yourself in 3 words or fewer? Like what are 3 descriptive words for you?
Feel more. Become more. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's too many words, but yeah.
So if I was
become more. How about that?
I dig it. Yeah. So you're an advocate for actually engaging in the emotional experience and not sweeping it under the rug.
No.
Oh my gosh, it's like such a refreshing thing. Yeah. I mean, how many of you out there got in trouble for an emotional outburst when you were younger? Like somebody, like a parent was hissing at you, be quiet now, or I am going to kill you, or you are going to be in big trouble. Just be quiet, shut up, or just wrap it up. Not now, go to your room, like get out of here, yes. Right? There's all these things that we're taught, like don't feel, because it's in the way of mom and dad's peace of mind.
Either that or, anytime you're sad, the first question you're asked is, what's wrong? So we grow up knowing that feelings are wrong.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. So we've got an emotional outburst or we've got some sort of experience of emotion going on.
Yes.
And somebody older says, what's wrong?
Exactly.
And so we know, I never thought about that. So we make the connection. If we're having a strong feeling,
is wrong. Correct.
We've got a wrong situation.
Yes.
We got to make it right.
Yes.
And right would be like not feeling.
Exactly. Exactly. So we stuff that feeling because it doesn't feel right, where we put a right or wrong to it instead of just feeling it. And it's all good. Yeah.
So tell us, how do we navigate this realm where we feel, when it feels so dangerous, when it feels so wrong, when it feels so alien, and we don't know what to do with the feeling?
It's like any other practice. You start from the beginning and grow yourself up like a child. So when you go to kindergarten, the first thing is you learn the alphabet and you learn C-A-T is cat and D-O-G is dog. So emotions is the same thing. We didn't learn it. So now we go back to the basics and look at the very basic human emotions, the primary human emotions, and know, okay, so when I feel fear, then I can deal with it this way. And then if I feel sad, then I do this, or whatever the feeling is, hurt, disgust, anger, whatever.
Oh, that's so great. So if we were going to look, just like narrow the whole realm of feelings down to just 6, right? Those feelings are, say them again.
Fear, hurt, disgust, anger, sadness, and joy.
So it sounds like all feelings boil down to those 6 realms.
Yes.
And, I've thought about those realms before, and it seemed like, gosh, it's really kind of hard to pigeonhole certain feelings into one of those realms. And you shared something with me. You said, look, like as a sophisticated adult with a vast lexicon,
correct,
you can come up with lots of words to describe something a little bit more precision and fine tuning. However, like you said earlier, we're not talking to that adult to repattern a relationship with emotions. We're going back to the 3-year-old, which has a limited vocabulary.
Yes.
The 3-year-old can get icky, so like understands disgust.
Yeah.
The 3-year-old can understand sad, can understand hurt, can understand mad, anger. But, it can't really understand.
You might be feeling slight frustration.
Right, yeah. Or doesn't really
the 3-year-old's like, no, I'm not.
Right, just mad, just flat out like angry in that moment.
Exactly.
And maybe hurt because like something's being thorted. And,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, because if we talk to the 3-year-old now, we can almost like you said, regrow ourselves, grow ourselves up again with a new awareness and a new understanding of emotion and a new relationship with emotion.
That's right. So it's all about growing ourselves up from childhood in the emotional realm. So in the emotions, you can call it emotional intelligence or whatever linguistically and from intuitively we learn from the beginning. So we learn how to deal with these emotions and how to integrate them and to recognize that all feelings must be honored because they are true. They are coming from a very soul level of our beings. They're not coming from the head. They usually reside in the body, and then they come up through the amygdala. So it's a very primitive, I'd say very basic human level that they're coming from. So by thoughting them or to
thoughting them, like putting them, like processing them through the thought process.
Yeah, exactly, and even putting them in judgment boxes that this is a bad feeling or this is a good feeling. Then we're just boxing them, and it's like a burp, you just got to come up and then you're good, right? Or a sneeze.
As ladies, we do not burp.
Yeah, well,
I hear what you're saying.
Those are all the things that we've learned, right? We shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that. And I'm not saying the world is not ready for us to, start crying in public places, but I'm hoping for a world like that everything will be okay because all feelings are fine.
Wouldn't it be great in a business meeting if we could just stomp our feet and pound the desk and be like, oh, I don't like it.
Really?
Just like that's the authentic response. And instead what people get is, and they're like, we just don't say what's there.
Exactly.
And then it comes out in other ways. It comes out with withholding. It comes out with bitter resentment and, retribution.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to balance it somehow, but it might look really ugly, like manipulation and retaliation.
All of those
sabotage. It can come out in nasty ways instead of saying like, you know what, that occurs to me as really uncomfortable and I'm angry about it and I just don't like it at all. So we've got to work that out. Because otherwise, I'm going to sabotage your career, and you will have an early exit from this company. But you just won't know it.
Yeah, exactly, because that's all we are trying to say, and then we don't. Like you said, we do covert operations of how could she say that? And then you just grind it, and then the next day you're not paying attention to her, or like you said, sabotaging a coworker's reports or something like that. And most of the time, we never ever address it.
And it's unconscious, a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
Like it just becomes this thing, this pattern that we do, and we just don't even know what we're doing or why we're doing it.
Because when we were very little, we were told it's not the right thing to feel. What you're feeling is not right. So of course, we're not going to now, in our 30s and 40s, going to feel that, where we don't allow ourselves because it's not right. It doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, it comes up in all the drama that we see from, homes to nations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is how wars begin, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've got two nations that have, competing interests. Mm-hmm. And, the people, we call these countries, but they're people. They're just groups of people led usually by one person or a small body of persons who have hurt feelings and feelings of scarcity and feelings of, like, that's another word that a 3-year-old wouldn't use, right? Is scarcity. Right? What would the 3-year-old actually call that?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these feelings of just
you're
like
scared right now because, I see you don't have enough support, or your mommy left and, or whatever. It's dark. It's not enough light.
Yeah.
I see.
So more sanctions for you.
Yeah.
More tariffs for you.
Not enough. You think this is not enough? I'll show you what's not enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my marbles and I'm going to go play by myself. You don't get to play anymore, and you're going to be really sorry. And you're going to come to me and want to apologize. And maybe I'll be magnanimous enough to say, well, the 3-year-old wouldn't say magnanimous. Yeah. Maybe I'll let you play
with me.
Right.
Yeah. If I play all the time and you just sit there and watch.
Right. So what I'm getting is that humans are just going to have emotions. It's not something that we're going to stop. It's like a burp. It's like a sneeze.
Exactly.
It happens. And are we going to deal with it in a healthy way, or are we going to continue to sweep it under the rug, pretend like it's not there, feel like it's wrong or bad, have a lot of shame about it, and then allow all the after effects to leak out in really unhealthy, manipulative ways?
Exactly. That's our decision.
So you do work with businesses and individuals, right?
Yes, I do leadership training and I do individual. Yeah.
So what are some of the benefits for leaders in exploring this work?
So, just like we're talking about emotions, they develop, right from birth on. And because we didn't do our work in the kindergarten level, now we're at the university level, but, we can't understand anything because we never learned our ABCs. So emotions the same way. At work, we're recreating the same situations, the same patterns as our childhood when it comes to emotions. So if somebody was not able to feel fear, per se, and they experienced a lot of fear because they were left with, a stranger right when they were little, or whatever the case may be, or like me who, experienced a war, when I was 5. So it could be any of those things, but we never learned to process fear. So I could be in an executive position and handling, a big staff, but I would deal with fear the same way, which I never learned. So it's something that, okay, we're just going to make this better. Now, everything is going to be okay. And it's, there's nothing to be scared about.
So your feelings are invalid.
Yeah. There's nothing to be feared about. There's nothing to be scared about. We got it under control. We'll take care of it.
So that leaves a loop operating in the background of like, well, hang on a second, something that's unresolved. Yeah. I think that there's something to be afraid of or to be scared about.
Nothing.
But she just says there's not. So then there's this conflict of like, who's right here?
So at work, I would create the same situations. So I would, distance myself with other people, say there's a change. So, in my previous life, I dealt with a lot with acquisitions and change management. And there is very primary fear at everybody's part when organizational change is going on. If I'm not in touch with my own fear, I've never learned to acknowledge it because I never validated it, I'm not going to validate any of their fears. There's nothing to fear about. So what? Yeah, 300 of us are going to be fired. All right, let's have coffee.
It'll be fine. Yeah. Right. And then we don't really actually make the progress and the difference that we could really make. We're going to go to a quick break here, and we'll be right back after these short words from our sponsors. Thanks for being with us. You are listening to the Manifesting Hour. My name is Katherine Pike, and I'm here with Alia Siddiqui. We'll be right back after this short message.
Do you have a business to pitch? Would you like your business to be featured in Forbes, Variety, Entrepreneur, Inc., Huffington Post, and many more? If you do, we have an amazing opportunity for you. On October 13th, United Intentions will be hosting an Atlanta mastermind with the City Gala, where there will be a Shark Tank-style panel to pitch your business to high net worth investors. The City Gala Summit Series is over 60 world-class, nationally conscious business acceleration experiences that ends with a celebration on the night of the Academy Awards in LA. For more information, visit citysummit.co. We will be selecting 5 businesses to pitch to the investors and 1 wild card. If you're interested, please send a 2-minute video pitching your business to contact@unitedintentions.org. That's contact@unitedintentions.org. Make sure you include your contact information as well. Good luck, and we'll see you there.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Manifesting Hour. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Katherine Pike, and we are here with Alia Siddiqui. Alia Siddiqui is an emotional intelligence expert who brings the power of emotion, the power of feelings to the workplace and to the home I'm just going to make this up. Like, for me, my sense of it is for a powerful experience of living.
Yes.
So I'm just getting a sense, like, we came to this earth in a body that had the capacity to experience emotion, yet we invalidate emotion, we repudiate emotion. We have that it's not spiritual, it's not conscious to have emotion, yet we're in a body that has the capacity for it. And so I'm thinking, WTF, like, what up that we don't get to really fully experience that? And so I do some work with channeling in messages from other places. And the big message that I've been getting repeatedly over the past year is, like, really embrace all of the feelings. You're meant to feel all of them. It's like saying that you're going to get a rainbow, but we really just want you to zero in on purple and red. Mm-hmm. Like, that's it. The rest of it is like, just ignore,
yeah.
But the rainbow is beautiful.
Yeah, yellow is no good. And blue is not there.
Yeah, seriously, like, if blue shows up and, like, you just need to go ahead and put on some red glasses right away, like, let's turn that to purple. Mm-hmm. And so it's crazy that we would have the capacity to feel and then not feel.
Correct.
So what I'm loving about, conversation with you is that I have permission to feel. And if I'm angry, like, you've told me before, like, just feel it, like, be with the anger and kind of celebrate it. We're going to have that, we're going to move this over to the side table, or maybe just put that on the floor for now. Thank you. And so we're going to have, like, we have this opportunity, really. It's an opportunity to be angry, and we want to be responsible. It's not like we want to go out and create damage, collateral damage with our anger. However, if there's a responsible way to experience the emotion of anger, like, have that experience, right? If there's a responsible way to have an emotional experience of sadness or fear, like, dive in. Correct. and validate that concern or that experience that's coming up. Like, have it be like, gosh, I'm experiencing a lot of anger right now, and just be with it. Like, and so, like, walk us through a scenario where there would be, either as an adult or a child, that there would be an upset, and then what we ordinarily would do and what we could do instead.
So let's take anger, for example, because that's the most uncomfortable feeling for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So the way my teacher, Dr. Bob Wright, explains it is in the emotional developmental model. A kid, when they're between 2.5 to about 5 years old, that's when they start to develop anger. Mm-hmm. That's the no age and, go away, I hate you age, I don't want to play age, and throwing tantrums and all of that. And how we deal with the kid is, no, don't do this. This is not right. Eat something or go to sleep or go to your room. And, so we try all these different,
or we try to bribe them,
strategies.
Like, if you don't stop it, you're not going to get this thing that you really wanted.
Those are punishments, or the bribe is like, if you stop, I'll take you, I'll get you an ice cream. Right.
Okay.
So, whatever strategies we use, none of them include, I see you're angry. I see you feel angry. And that's another distinction. As adults, we never want to verbalize it saying that I am angry, because I am not angry. I'm a woman. I feel angry in that moment. Mm-hmm. So to separate ourself from the feeling, that's the first thing.
Okay.
And for as we are saying that we're growing ourselves up. So that's something that we want to tell ourselves is when I feel angry is to validate me. Oh, I see you feel angry. Maybe talk to your little child that is 3 and wants to stomp her feet and want to bang I don't like this. Whatever meeting is going on, you were
bang
late.
The desk
Exactly.
Have all the pins jump on the conference room table.
So if of course, there's the social intelligence aspect of it, that in the meeting that that's not how I'm going to deal with my anger, but to acknowledge is the first step, is to acknowledge that, okay, I feel angry right now. As soon as we verbalize it, as I had told you that the frontal lobe is where our language is. Brain, develops language or later on. So as we were saying, we're talking to a child, so their vocabulary is limited. As soon as we as an adult verbalize it, I feel angry, the frontal lobe, comes lit, and then we can do something with it. Okay, I feel angry because I don't like these organizational changes, or I do not like this project plan, or whatever. Then we can, as adults, deal with that.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you, through language, activate the prefrontal cortex, the frontal lobe, which is not where the feeling resides. You got to bring them into cooperation with each other, and then the thinking mind can now participate. So we've got this feeling that comes up through the reptile brain and then activates, it's like lives inside the limbic system, got the amygdala involved. However, that's all primitive stuff outside of the frontal lobe or languages.
Yes.
And unless we verbalize the feeling, like actually say, I am feeling X, Y, or Z, then we're not going to get the participation of the thinking mind.
Nope.
We're going to be caught in just this upset and not really have any way to deal with it. And certainly not any way to talk it through with logic.
Exactly.
That's when that's when I see certain people getting upset with each other and they're really not saying anything. They're almost just grunting. And if they're men, I see them sometimes starting to butt shoulders, or they start tapping on each other, and it gets really ugly, but there's no conversation. So if one would just say, I'm experiencing upset right now. The other one might be that's just what? We're in a sports bar. What are you talking about experiencing upset? That one might just be arresting enough to just put a stop in the whole fight that's getting ready to brew, or this brewing that's getting ready to happen. Or the person could just say I'm feeling angry about what you said. And the other person could be like, well, yeah, I said it to make you angry. And it's well, why would you do that? Well, because I wanted to hurt you. Why did you want to hurt me? Because I think you're sleeping with my wife. Oh, well, okay.
Can you imagine?
Right.
The intuitive conversations, the enlightening conversations that we can have without the games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there could be a clean conversation of I'm absolutely not doing anything with your wife or any other woman. That we need to clean that up. Do we need to have a meeting? And the other person could be oh, well, then I guess I've got the wrong information. And now there's no fight. Or it could be I'm angry because your dog poops on my lawn and you never clean it up. Well, dude, that's my son who's walking the dog. Well, you need to tell him to clean up the poop. It's killing my grass. All right, I'll tell him to clean it up. All right, no fight. But unless we participate from a language level, we're not going to get the grown-up inside the conversation, it sounds like.
No, and it's I don't want to sound preachy, but it's in the scripture. It teaches us how to deal with emotions, but we just don't look at it that way.
Yeah. Boy, there's so much wisdom in Scripture. All Scripture, all spiritual Scripture, the Vedic text, the Torah, the Bible, everywhere.
Because, it's the story is when Moses was given the tablets, go talk to the Pharaoh. The first thing he said is, I'm afraid. I feel scared. And as soon as he said that, frontal lobe comes on, say, I'm scared because the Pharaoh is going to reject me. So he put a reason to it right away. And then he's like, can you strengthen me with my brother? There's a strategy.
Oh, wow.
This clean conversation, and it all starts with me acknowledging what feeling I'm having.
And then can make a logical request.
Exactly.
Oh, I just love
at
that.
a meeting, can you imagine we're at a board meeting and or a team meeting, and this is what is happening? As soon as I say, I feel okay, if the world is not ready for that, but internally I can verbalize it. I feel really angry right now. Okay. So Katherine, you said we're going to do this project this way or that way, but I don't think this is fair. This is not fair for the marketing department or whatever, because anger is related to fairness, and that's our sense of fairness. As soon as I feel not, a sense of fairness against me or somebody else, that's when the real anger comes in. So then I can negotiate with you that I don't think this is fair for this people, or this is not fair because it's going to take us more time, come in on a Sunday. I don't want to do that. And all of those strategies, and then you can, okay, well, let's talk about it this way. Then, okay, how about, you come in late on Thursday and not come Sunday. We can talk about real strategies to get around it. And it all starts with me acknowledging in that meeting I felt fear.
The truth, it's got to start with truth. Yeah, the feeling is part of the truth. So I've had it in the past, and you guys might have had it too, that the only thing that was logical to discuss in the realm of truth was just facts. So let's just talk about data. And so this person over here is experiencing upset because they're seeing the long Sunday getting ready to happen, and they're not able to say what's really on their mind. And so over here, the person has the capacity to arrange the schedule. It's just getting this upset and just sensing this person's angry, and they're thinking, they're just uncooperative. And now all of a sudden assertion comes in. So I'm not going to just assert myself because I'm seeing that she wants to squirrel out of this responsibility. Because no, it's just all about. It's all about not having to come in on Sunday. You got a project with your kids, or that's the day where you really honor yourself and you recharge your batteries. So instead of having a clean conversation about it, starting with the truth of the feeling, there's going to be all this guessing back and forth and all of this dominating, avoiding being dominated over there with you, and my trying to dominate you, and it's weird stuff weird dynamics that we get into.
Oh yeah, always the one up and one down. Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to win?
Exactly, yeah. Because I never acknowledge. I've already wronged myself for feeling the anger. Not consciously. That's just what I learned. Anger is bad. Anger is wrong. So I've already wronged myself for whatever that discomfort came up, and I never acknowledged it. But I've judged myself that, okay, this is not right. I don't feel right. I don't feel good about this. And, imagine that kind of energy that, I'm just going to be no, but about this and what about that? And no, this is not going to work. Or maybe I'll just, sit there brew, and then come out and then tell everybody else that this is not going to work.
Right, instead of saying in the meeting that you don't like what...
Or if nobody's listening, then I have already decided this is not going to work. So of course the project's not going to work. Yeah, it'll be next Monday morning and nothing will be done because I've already decided that this is not going to work.
Wow, and that happens
from the
real
one
life.
piece.
Every day in real life, that happens times 1 million, probably 1 billion episodes. Yeah.
I was reading an article, and this person was talking about how his wife wanted him to put, I don't know, their fence had one, what do you call that, little wood thing?
Post?
Yeah, the post thing. Not even the post, in between there's slats. So one slat had fallen, and she had asked him to fix it. And he kept saying, okay, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. And then, I don't know, 2 weeks went by, and, he's not fixing it. And then she's nagging and, do all of that. It all came down to his own, he's calling it insecurity, but it was fear. It was fear that he wasn't equipped to do it.
So he kept avoiding it.
Of course, because he never acknowledged that I'm afraid I don't know how to put it up. It all started there because fear and not feeling adequate was not okay. He didn't learn it. He learned not to be okay with the fear. There's nothing to be afraid of, right?
So then he was just caught in this denial loop and paralyzed.
And then 2 weeks later, and he knows that, and that's what the blog was about, that until he acknowledges that, this could have gone on for months and he would not have fixed it.
And then she just would have gotten progressively angrier
exactly.
and caused a big ruckus for no reason.
Yeah.
Perfect example. We're going to go to another short break.
Okay.
We'll be back right after this quick message. You are listening to the Manifesting Hour. I'm your host, Katherine Pike, and we're here with Alia Siddiqui. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ready to be the hero of your own story? It's time to put the power of your health back into your hands. Join us for our free 25-day journey to get your life back now from chronic illness. Our doctors and experts will guide you back to optimal health.
Of course, I understood how incredibly toxic root canals are. And let me tell you, as a dentist, you do not want to lose teeth. I was very proud of the fact that I had 32 teeth, and as I told Hal Huggins, I plan on going to my grave with 32 teeth, and he said, that's exactly what you're doing. Okay. So I waited. So I sympathize with my patients when I tell them they have to have a tooth taken out, because I didn't want to have my teeth taken out. It took me, well, let's see, that was September, October, November, December, January. January, I decided, okay, I got to go back and get my teeth taken out and my 18 mercury fillings. Okay. And in the old days, when I was a dental assistant, we were squeezing mercury with our hands. Just throwing it on the floor, no gloves, no nothing. Not that the gloves would help. Okay, so I went back in January. I had first my mercury fillings removed, and my brain fog disappeared overnight.
Go to www.getyourlifebacknow.live and begin your journey today.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Manifesting Hour. We're talking about emotional intelligence with Alia Siddiqui today. She's an emotional intelligence expert, and she guides leaders, human beings, individuals.
They're a leader of their own lives.
Yeah, to be a leader of their own lives. You really just feel.
Yes.
And I really dig that. It's so simple. It's so core and fundamental. And we don't pay enough attention to our feelings, or that is the issue, right? We just don't pay attention to them. They're there.
They're there.
And we say,
they're
no.
coming up.
So, not now. It's an inconvenient time. I can't deal with this right now.
Inconvenient. I like that.
It's in the way. It's going to mess everything up. So, just going to swallow it. It's sort of like swallowing gasoline. It's not like that's not going to have an effect on you.
Exactly.
It's gonna have some sort of impact.
Of course, and we're on the manifesting hour, so I know that feelings manifest. Blocked feelings manifest into arthritis and heartburn and stomach problems and headaches and all kinds of things.
Well said.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's one thing that we could consider if we're experiencing some strange symptoms in our life to look at our feelings, right?
Of course. But that's we just go to, we're just going to take some Tums and how about, what if I have repressed anger? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So to give us some examples that you've come across in your life, some real life examples of how the meat and the grit of all this good, juicy stuff.
It's funny you asked me that because we're on the subject of anger. So I'm going to do this. It was so fun. It was real fun to do this. So I was visiting with family, and my niece's kid, he was poor at the time. And he was being picked up by my sister, who's the grandma. And he's in the back seat. And, at the end of the day, he's picked up from whatever after school care or school care, whatever. He's just angry and he's miserable. He's hungry, whatever is going on with him. So he's in the back seat, stomping is, how kids push their feet on the back seat. So she's driving, and then I had to go somewhere, so she stopped to pick me up. So I get on the back seat with him, because the front seat was something else. So I'm sitting there, and he's just screaming, "Who is she? Why is she here? Why? I want to go home." And he's just all of this. And my sister is, trying everything. The placation, eat some more strawberries, don't kick, all of that. I'm being disturbed. See, you don't want me to have an accident. Now you've related, the anger to the fear. So all of the strategies, and he's just going on and on. I'm like, bleh. And I was looking at him just like this. And he's, why are you looking at me? And I said, I'm really enjoying this. What? And I said, I really like how you are in touch with your anger. That's the same exact, response that he had. He just stopped and looked at me. He's like, yeah. And then he's like, do you like cars? I'm like, sure.
That's awesome. He just needed to be acknowledged.
Exact. The feeling of anger had to be acknowledged. That's all.
And so whenever we're feeling any feeling, the feeling of fear needs to be acknowledged. The feeling of disgust needs to be acknowledged. The feeling of sadness needs to be acknowledged. So fear, anger, disgust, sadness,
Anger.
happy, like joy.
Anger
right?
and joy. Yeah.
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 So joy is like, that's the one we always want. Like, that's the one we're going for, right? Like, we feel like if we're manifesting everything as we're meant to, we're just going to experience joy. Well, the crappy news is, like, if we're manifesting everything as we're meant to, we're experiencing the full spectrum of emotions.
Yes.
That was like, what? Like, that was a serious WTF news flash for me when I got that information. I was like, that didn't come from a human. That came, it's a long story. Anyway, it's like, okay, so if we're manifesting everything as we're meant to, and we're here as divine beings, and we are in this human body, we're supposed to be in all of it. We're supposed to be we're supposed to paint with the full kit of colors. We're supposed to play with all the blocks, all the shapes.
And like you said, the rainbow, look at all the colors and acknowledge that there is a yellow and green and blue everything in there.
Yeah, so joy figures in there, right? Yeah. Like, joy's great, awesome. That's the one that kind of feels really cool.
It is. It's okay. But most of us didn't even learn how to process real joy and really feel joy and complete it. It's like, why are you laughing so much? Okay, then, calm down now.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I forgot. My parents told me that like a million times. Calm down. That's enough. Like, with the whole, glee, it's too much for people to handle sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, what are you smiling about? I had a boss like that. Every morning I was like, good morning. And she's like, what happened? I'm like, what happened about what? And she's like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, I don't know, just started my day.
Immediately she's suspicious, like something's going on. It's a trick.
Yeah, a lot of people have that, what I got is don't laugh too much because then you'll be crying.
Ah. Oh, and I remember...
all of these rules, they have, no scientific backing.
That's true, they don't. And, I remember being told, if you smile too much, or if you frown too much, you're going to get lines on your face. So what the lesson is, just, do nothing. Which you get with Botox, right? Oh, boy, that's beautiful. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. It's the same emotion all the time. This is what we're told that we're supposed to have on our face. It's just nothing, no experience, no evidence of experience. Dude, I'm so happy about the laugh lines. Yeah. I can deal with laugh lines, and I can also deal with the frown lines too. I'm just hoping that they balance each other a little bit, right? Yeah. So the idea is balance, right? So the idea is also responsibility and involving the prefrontal cortex, getting the adult conversation involved. And I get it that it's going to take something to regrow our experience from the ground up, from the age 1 up. Mm-hmm. Train ourselves to really just be with emotions and be with them in a healthy way, so that when we're experiencing now as an adult, it doesn't get out of hand. It doesn't turn into some sort of storm where there's a serious fallout or impact that's no longer workable.
Exactly. And it's like any other practice, right? Whatever we pick up, yoga or, running, whatever we pick up, we start from the small steps and then we build on it. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, it's going to be weird. Some of the yoga poses or the aerobics exercises, you'd be like, it's cramps. I know now I can't move, or whatever the discomfort would be, we have to work through it to get to the other side, which is really fully living. Yeah. It's such a great full living is to experience and honor emotions. Emotions are very true. They're coming from a very deep, true soul level. Mm-hmm. So the best we can do is acknowledge them and honor them.
I remember I was at the sink washing dishes with my husband nearby a couple of years ago, and we had just had an upset and a breakdown. And for me, like, there's something OCD about washing dishes. It just feels like there's immediate gratification available. So I often just turn to the dishes and start rubbing them with water and like getting them ready for the dishwasher. And in this particular case, like, it felt really great and like very therapeutic to rub them vigorously, and water is just flying everywhere. And my husband asked me, like, what's going on? I'm like, I am being angry. I am really, really mad. And I noticed that it's just like you said, when I activated the prefrontal cortex, and I didn't realize that's what was going on. I realized that, like, it was completely unhelpful for me to be shouting like that. And so that's what I said. And I realized that yelling is making no sense right now. We both just laughed.
It's so funny. Yeah. And it could be disgust too. You're cleaning because there's this feeling of disgust coming up.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, there probably was. Yeah, for sure.
Could be. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
It's great when we can work with the emotion, right? And like really just language it, acknowledge it, like you said, and then be in communication about it.
Correct. So we're talking of anger. Like I said, there's progressive pole and regressive pole. We could stay in reactivity and never resolve the anger, or we can acknowledge the anger and assert whatever our will is, that this project is not going to work because blah, blah, blah. Or, you can say, I don't think, we should go on this vacation, or whatever the reason is. Or with this little child that I was talking to, he wanted to go home. So it's unfair for him to stop and pick up people and, delay his going to home. So it's anger coming up. You resolve that, then you can move on to something else. It's when we stay in the reactivity, we never resolve the anger. And there's affects of a feeling. So there's emotions, and then the affect is in the brain. So when we don't resolve the emotional part, then anger, the affect of anger, is being pissed off. So some people, they have so much regressed anger that you just don't see them enjoying life at all. They're most of the time pissed off at something or the other. The traffic, the boss, whatever, hair, whatever. You fill in the blanks. And they just remain in that mood. So it becomes a mood.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't distinguish that the feelings are not a mood. It's like I said, for lack of better terminology, it's like a burp. It comes up and you just let it go. It's when you hold on to it, that's when it becomes a mood. So sadness is a feeling. It's a very sweet, very deep, sweet feeling. You just bring it up and shed some tears and put a reason to it, and it subsides, and then move on to something else.
You have a beautiful story about a little boy who was sad about his mom. Would you tell that story?
Yeah, so he was 4 at the time, and I was watching this friend's kid, and she had to go to a meeting. So he got up from bed, and he started crying because he was looking for his mom. And, he said, "Where's Mom? And I'm so sad." No, he didn't say I'm sad. He's just crying, "Where's Mommy?" And I just picked him up and looked him straight in his eyes, and I said, "Oh, I feel you're sad because your mommy's not here." And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "I would be too if my mommy left me to go to work. But she's gone to work, and she's going to come back in the evening." And he's like, "Yeah. Do you have something to eat?" Immediately moved on to whatever the next feeling is, or, whatever the next action is. It's us acknowledging that and treating ourselves in that love, in that compassion, that the child inside of us at that time is coming up with this feeling, just like you described it very well with the brain. It's the primitive brain, and it's coming up with this feeling. And we as an adult, from the frontal lobe can acknowledge that. "Okay, sweetie, I see you're sad. You're feeling sad. Okay."
And that's all he needed in that moment.
Yeah.
It was just to be acknowledged.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you weren't going to be able to bring his mother back in that moment. And so he was going to have that feeling, and it was going to persist probably as a mood all day long.
Yes.
If you hadn't just said what there was to be said, which is, I see you, I see that feeling, and yeah, like I would feel that way too. That
You
was so beautiful.
validated. Yeah, you validated, and then we can move on. But if I was to use all of the different strategies, let's eat something, let's play something, then I'm telling him that sadness is not okay. And he would be 45 and with his wife, and he wouldn't know how to deal with her sadness because he never learned to deal with his own.
Does that sound familiar to any of you besides me? We're not alone in this. We're going to be back after the short break. You are listening to the Manifesting Hour. I'm your host, Katherine Pike, and we're here talking to emotional intelligence expert, Alia Siddiqui. We'll be back right after the short message. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Dr. Harrison Davis.
And my name is Dr. Aisha Dickerson. We'd like to invite you to listen to our show, Two Therapists and a Microphone.
Every other Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDJY 99.1 FM and the UI Radio Network.
Two Therapists and a Microphone is a talk show featuring insightful interviews and stories from experts in mental health, social, and political issues. The show is designed to help you gain knowledge about yourself and the world we live in.
You can catch United Intentions and Two Therapists and a Mic on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and as Higher Intention on Twitter.
You can download the UI Radio app for your Apple device or listen to us on Spreaker and iTunes at United Intentions or Two Therapists and a Microphone.
So join us for a dose of reality with Two Therapists and a Microphone.
To the Manifesting Hour. I'm your host, Katherine Pike, and Alia Siddiqui and I are talking today about like the beauty and the benefit of acknowledging our emotions, not acknowledging the emotions in ourselves and in others, and what's possible when we do that. And sometimes we just don't acknowledge the rotten things that we say to ourselves. We just take it, we don't acknowledge them as thoughts. We acknowledge them as the truth. Like, I'm no good, I'm not enough, I suck, this is like, I'm a failure. I'm ridiculous. Like, why bother? So how do we deal with this internal monologue, especially if we haven't distinguished that it is a choice to have those thoughts about ourselves? Like, especially if we think that it's just simply the truth and we're just saying what's so.
Now, most of us have, realized that, and we know that those are negative thinking or stinking thinking that, we're doing to ourselves. But what I want to draw attention to is that it stems from us being not okay with certain feelings.
Okay.
So it's a groundwork that has to happen. And so for me, I never learned to be okay with anger. And it's not something you should have. Dad's the only one who can have anger. Nobody else can have anger. Right. So for me to first recognize it, like you said, acknowledge it, that, okay, I feel angry right now. And then to honor it. Honor the feeling that, okay, this is what's coming up. And as soon as, you do that, you can come up with a reason for it. And then you can, assert your will to do something with it. When I take myself to the process, then, all of the headaches and the backaches and heartburn and all of that went away. It's really a choice. It's an existential choice. First of all, to acknowledge the anger, and then what am I going to do with it? Mm-hmm. And, to take it as my truth or my soul giving me a signal that there's something that I need to take care of around me. There's some unfairness that is going on around me that I must take care of. And anger, when it's really channeled effectively, that's where we start to move, our goal setting and achieving goals and, moving forward. Those are all anger-driven things. And it all starts with us acknowledging and just taking a very compassionate level, to a compassionate look to ourselves, like little children.
The self-compassion is really curative, isn't it?
It is. It's like, and instead of going into the whole cognitive, this, I'm this, I'm that, or labeling ourselves, but it all goes back to how did I get trained on dealing with certain emotion? Because if I was trained to relate anger to not okay, this is not good. I'm being, bad child, or whatever, I learned, or as a teenager that, bad daughter, bad woman, whatever. We relate certain emotions to certain rules. And that's what we're telling ourselves, that somebody comes up with fear, and then they tell themselves that, I'm no good, I'm a failure, or whatever. They're relating it. Or if the sadness was not an okay thing, they're relating it to, I'm no good, I'm a bother, I'm, whatever, I'm no good company. So those are the judgments that they're attaching. And we as a society, again, has to learn and grow so much from, in this realm, because we've already put labels to it that it's not okay. Sadness is not okay, or fear is not okay, anger is not okay, and we're attaching all of these like no good. I don't feel so good. How many times have you heard people say, I don't feel good? Like, what is it? Because they've already decided that whatever they're feeling is not good. Instead, that it is a feeling. It has nothing to do with good or bad. Really, absolutely nothing to do with good or bad.
Yeah, we do say I don't feel good, or I feel bad. Yeah, so I didn't think about that. Our language is just rife with these very subconscious messages about feelings being dangerous and not permitted.
No, and danger is not permitted, not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And instead that I'm okay even when I'm feeling so hurt. I'm okay.
And that feeling is not me. I'm not hurt. I'm feeling hurt.
Yeah, I feel hurt. And hurt is like, immediate. Like, if I punch you right now, ouch, you'd be like, oh, wow, what just happened? Instead, if I punch you and you just sit there, and you were saying?
Yeah.
You never acknowledged it.
And we do that. We go through life with different things punching us, metaphorically punching us, and we just sit there with it and just absorb it and feel like we think that we've got to just plow ahead. And maybe we probably deserved that, and it's probably because
all of those judgments, and or you would be like, I'm okay, no, I don't feel so good, my arm hurts, or some, like most of the people, you'd be like, I don't feel too good, I'm not going to go to work today. It perpetuates. It all started with you not acknowledging, ouch.
Right. And instead, what I'm hearing you say is if we can just say, like, that punch on the arm, that felt painful. And I'm curious about that. Like, ow, why did you do that? And then you could say, well, you're in my space, and I told you not to come close. Like, well, I didn't hear you say that.
Exactly. All of those, like I said, social interactions can happen once we acknowledge the feelings. A lot of the social, interactions, they're based in a very victim consciousness. It's like things happening to me. So this not feeling okay, this, I don't feel so good, or some client canceled and, that I don't feel so good. And we never acknowledge that I had an ouch when that client canceled. And we don't acknowledge it, don't look at it as an emotional as an emotion coming up. And instead, we just go through, not even plow through, but kind of drag ourselves through the next day, or plan that, okay, I'll make 10 more phone calls and maybe I'll get a client. But it's coming from a very negative energy. It's not coming from a loving energy that, oh, sweetie, you feel hurt because they canceled. I see you. That's all. Then you can go on to, okay, let's do something else. And I may still make the 10 more phone calls, but it'll be a very different energy.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's an opportunity for a reset.
Yeah.
Just kind of create a new plane, like a clean slate, a clean playing field, and just create from there, as opposed to just dealing with all the stuff, the repression.
It's like anything, it's like I said, it's in the body and it's coming up. So if just like your punch in the arm, or you stub your toe, or you hit your toe on the bedpost, if you don't I'm okay, you never acknowledged it. But if you say, "Ow, that hurts," and you massage it a little bit, then you move on. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't sit there all day thinking about the toe.
Right.
That we do this physically, we do this, and when I was saying that emotions manifest in different ways in different ailments, but we're so quick to my tooth hurts, I need to make an appointment, and I need to get I may have some cavity or something, but we never really acknowledge the emotion of hurt.
Yeah,
when
if the
somebody
tooth
said
hurts,
something,
then we'll deal with it. But if our heart hurts or if our feelings are hurt, we don't want to acknowledge that and talk about it.
Yeah, no. And again, because we never learned that hurt is a valid feeling.
Yeah.
It's coming up to take care of something inside of me.
I remember that recently my mom had a birthday, and I had mailed her a birthday present, and she had sent me an email early in the morning saying she loved it. She opened it up. She was so excited, and I was going to call her, but I didn't get a chance to call her until about 5 p.m. that day, and she didn't answer the phone, and I tried a couple of phones, and she didn't return the call. And then some time went by, several days, and I made up all these stories about how, I hadn't called her first thing in the morning, and how, there was this drama, brewing in my brain. And then I was going into all kinds of defensiveness. I was coming up with all these attacks of, ways that I was going to...
All the comebacks.
Yeah, all the comebacks, ways I was going to survive this conversation when eventually she was going to let me know, let me have it. And I finally just called her. I was like, "Mom, did I hurt your feelings?" And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't heard from you." She goes, "Oh, yeah, I just wrote you a letter. I guess it didn't come yet." And the letter was joyful and thankful. And I'm good. I'm fine. Dad and I went downtown and we stayed in a hotel overnight, and we decided to have a big celebration. So that's why I didn't call you back. I was busy. I was like, oh, and life is like that. And I think that, when we're wrapping up the show in this moment, in these last few seconds, and I think one of the invitations I'm getting from you too, Alia, is just have life be celebratory, have it be that includes all of it, the full spectrum of feeling, and have it be that we're celebrating anger and sadness along with joy.
Everything, all of it. It's all good.
How much more time do we have, Wahid? We got 1 minute. So what would you say in summary? How do people reach you, and how do they work with you?
Call me. Look me up, CoachAlia.com.
So spell that for us.
CoachAlia.com.
Yeah, and I can say from personal experience, this woman is absolutely brilliant. She's calm and lovely and soulful and just clear, and you hold a space for being that is unparalleled in this universe. And I'm very grateful for your presence in my life, Alia.
Thank you, Catherine, for this opportunity. Thank
You're
you, everyone
welcome.
else. And all I have to say is feel more to be more.
I totally dig that. Feel more to be more. You have been listening to The Manifesting Hour. I'm your host, Katherine Pike, and this is a production of the UI Media Network.
Now, wasn't that wonderful? You've been listening to The Manifesting Hour, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation on the UI Radio Network. Have any questions you'd like to ask Katherine Pike? Want to be featured on her show? Email us at contact@unitedintentions.org with the subject line Manifesting Hour. Remember, you can always listen to our shows on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, and on our UI Radio app. Also, watch The Manifesting Hour on Facebook Live at United Intentions and on YouTube at United Intentions as well. We hope today inspired you to take action and manifest what you truly desire. Keep your faith and take your next inspired step. See you next time on the Manifesting Hour. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.
Remember when you first fell in love with travel? At Peregrine Adventures, we remember, and we think you deserve to rediscover that feeling. Book a small group tour with Peregrine and embrace your spirit of adventure. It's about time. Find out more at peregrineadventures.com.